The most music every hour. Carson Daly.
97.1
Amp Radio.
The best thing to come out of Orange County since Disneyland.
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani.
Well, my old buddy Gwen Stefani joins us live at 7:10 on Amp Radio. Carson Daly, producer Angie. Gwen, good morning. You're in a barrage of selfies over there. You look fantastic.
Yeah, that's how I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, honestly, that little intro thing was so sweet of you guys. Thank you so much.
I did it all.
Well,
yeah, I'm sure you
Angie
did.
stayed up late
She got
last
up,
night.
She said to the twins, like,
no time for you
Totally.
guys. I got work
She
to do.
said, twins, you guys trick-or-treat alone. Mommy's going to make a little production piece for Gwen Stefani.
Nothing to do with that.
Hi, Carson.
Hi, sweetheart. How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm really, really happy to be here. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
believe
great to
it.
have
I can't
you.
believe I'm on the radio right now. This is
It's
crazy.
so awesome. I have to just start with, I had the good fortune of playing you for Halloween. I was you from the blind audition season 9 on The Voice. That was the look that we went after on the Today Show.
Honestly, it was
And
so
finding
good.
those red leather pants to fit my my large frame was no easy
my
feat.
large frame. But I mean, the crazy part for me was when you kept trying to do the kicks, but like I feel like the pants were too tight. Like you couldn't really lift your legs out.
It was hard. I don't know how you do it, but as soon as I was dressed like you, I feel like I became you. And
channeled
after
her?
watching you on The Voice, I had key phrases that I was working on, like "You're so good." Oh my, you're like so good. Who are you?
Yeah, that was good.
Who
And then
are
you kept being like, I'm just like so emotional right now. Like I have tears.
These are real tears. But it was a lot of fun.
I
How
love
are
the
you?
heels. I love the heels on him. Did you see those?
Those were so
They were like
ugly.
witches.
They were literally
like,
the ugliest heels I've
like a
ever
Yeah, they
witch's
were.
witches. They were
I took them
terrible.
home and wore them around my house to practice in them. My kids thought it was crazy. My 6-year-old's like, "Do you have something you want to say to us? Should we sit down here?" Gwen, let's get back to business. There's a lot to cover. It's good to have you here so early in Amp Radio. Musically, we'll put that aside for a second with the success of "Used to Love You," which has just gone gangbusters, which we're excited for you about. But let's start with The Voice because you're in your second time around. How has
Yeah.
it been different this time around? You seem like you're really having a good time.
I am really. Whoa. I love that. I wish my whole life had sound effects. It feels like it does right now.
around, yeah.
Actually, my life feels so extreme right now that it does feel like that. Perfect. The Voice is so fun, but you know that about me. Like I loved the first season, but this season's crazier. Like because I feel like I know everybody so well, and also because my life is crazy. I mean, my life basically blew up in my face, and so now I'm like in this new life, and it's pretty awesome. I have to say, like I'm so inspired, and being back on the show, and just being in a new place, it's just everything feels new, and I just feel inspired. I don't know how else to describe it.
You talk about it. Your life has really, while shooting this show, you went through such a traumatic experience, and you're on the other end of it now. And
I feel like I'm gonna throw up right now. Is that honestly? I honestly had a wave of like puke, like
little vomit.
Is that from? I saw the pictures of you after the Halloween, the cowgirl outfit.
Yeah.
You seem like you were at Jared Leto's house pretty late.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
that's
was-
why you want to puke.
I was literally that party girl that you hear about when their life blows up, and you're like, oh, I'm going out, like
crazy. Oh,
yeah,
I've
watch
known
me.
you so long. I've known you since like 1995. I've never seen you in like a Lindsay Lohan like headline.
Oh my god!
You and Blake
You
coming
just-
out of a house dressed up for
Wow.
Halloween. I'm just like, oh my gosh. By the way, I'm like, who are both of these people? This is so not like either of my friends, but you guys are having a good time.
We're just
Good
trying
for
to
you.
have fun, you know.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. But it's good. So because so much has changed in your life, how is that, because we had you here a while ago, and I've been trying to just push you musically, we had Spark the Fire,
You
we
were.
played Baby Don't.
Yep.
I was trying to like get the Gwen Stefani solo thing 10 years in the making since The Sweetest Game. Like we got to get this thing going on the tracks again. But now it seems like everything's just... What happened to all that creative songs? Like, where are you with your third solo album?
Well, this is what's so crazy is that so many miracles have happened to me like in the last few years. It started when I got pregnant with Apollo. Like that was like, what the, like, it's, how God just shows you like little glimpses of like miracles. And that was the first one. Right. And then I got The Voice. Like I think he was like 4 months, and they called me, or maybe he was even like 5 weeks. I can't even remember. And then I was on the show, and that was just like a whole new, like, inspiring experience to be on that show. And then things went down. Like I think it was February where my life just, whoa, like it just changed. And at that point, it was like before that I couldn't really write. Like everything was, I wanted to, but it was just, my life was just so, I don't even know how to describe. I'm trying to find the words. Please help me find the words. But it was just like I couldn't write. It just wasn't happening, and I was so insecure about it. And then it just opened up. It was like this channel just opened up. I went in to write my first song with this guy called Rick Knowles, and I literally cried.
But why did it open up? It opened up because of the divorce? It opened up because of something
You just said
traumatic?
the D word on the radio.
What? What's wrong?
Whoa.
That's what it's called.
Does anyone have a bucket? Because honestly,
That's what it's
this
called.
is so intense. This is like way more intense than I thought it was going to be. I don't know. Maybe it's
I'm
because
trying to figure out. All I asked you is your third solo album. Where is it?
I
And
know,
you
but
went down memory
I don't
lane
know.
about your.
I'm just trying to explain to everyone that this is crazy what's happening to me, and
Right.
everybody that hears a song or I don't have anything to hide. I mean, everybody knows that I was married forever with, and now I'm not. And so, could you imagine what my life is like right now? It's
I
crazy.
can't even imagine
and
that.
and I ended up going in the studio, and on the way to the studio that first time, like I didn't want to go. Like I wanted to be in my bed, like crying, and I did cry all the way down Santa Monica, driving to Santa Monica. What am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I finally, like, he sat me in the room and he's like, okay, well, let's write a song. And it wasn't like just, to a track. It was like, sit in the middle of the room. It's just me and him and this engineer I don't know, and just write a song to the piano. I was like, whoa, this is intense. And we did it. We wrote this song called You Don't Know Me. And that was the first opening of the channel of like, whoa, I think this is going to happen. And that feeling of like being able to write again, that's everything to me. Like everything about who I am, like confidence wise or my value on myself is by songwriting. And I so anyway, so then I just started writing one after another. Like I think within 8 weeks I had like 19 songs, like every single
Once it
time.
opened up, it just opened.
Yeah, and I would be like I'd be like one song after another. Like even in one day I would write like 2 songs.
Yeah.
And it was kind of insane. And the whole story with Used to Love You, which is even crazier, because I had written this whole record and it was very spiritual. Like the experience of going in with these guys. I worked with this guy, Justin Tranter, and this guy, JR, and this girl, Raja. And I call this like the Breakfast Club, because the moment I walked in the studio, I was like, listen, I don't care about anything. Like, I don't care about hits. I don't care about anything except for coming in this room right now. I don't know who you guys are, and they were like, the record company had like set me up with them, and I was like, on the way there, I was like, being like, oh man, here I'm gonna go in with a bunch of guys again, and I'm gonna like try to, and they're gonna expect all this stuff in my mind, right? And I walked in, and it was like literally like the United Colors of Benetton, like this like crazy neurotic Jewish guy, and like this like Indian girl, like Indian jewelry on, and then this Justin Tranter, which you can look him up, and then you can decide what he is. He's like that, and I was like, listen, all I want to do is I just want to say the truth. Like I just want the truth to come out. I just want to be honest and real, and I just want to do stuff that represents where I'm at right now. And they were like, okay. And then the one guy's like, well, I'm the
Surprised they all didn't hit the door.
See, I'll talk to you later.
But we ended up going to the piano, and we wrote this song called Red Flags. And the song is literally like, I feel like it's like a work of art. Like it's a combination of all of us together, and it just expresses so clearly where I was at that time. And each time that happened, like, and then we wrote this song called Naughty. Then we wrote this song, like, it just kept happening. And I can't tell you, like, the feeling that I got. Like, it was to the point where the smell of the studio, like, I couldn't wait to be at the studio. I still can. Like, that's all I want to do is songwrite right now, which is crazy and such a, like, blessing.
Well, I think Gwen Stefani joins us live, and what you're describing now is process, is an artist's process into the music. And for your fans, for them to hear that at this point in your life, that this is your process. I think a lot of fans just assume that their favorite artists don't write their material, that they buy songs. Number one, that's certainly not the case with you. And number two, they feel that their favorite artists just sit down and like write about anything that's not even related to their lives. That's not who you really ever have been as an artist. You know, you've always written about what's going on in your life. Like you said earlier, like Tragic Kingdom, you wrote it and then like it came out like 2 or 3 years later. It was not in the real time that Used to Love You is reflecting what's happening in your life. You have this new sense of immediacy now. It's just got to freak you out.
It is true. And like, honestly, what's crazy is Used to Love You came out, like a couple weeks ago now? And that was literally the 20-year anniversary, the week of Tragic Kingdom.
Right.
Which is just bizarre.
That is crazy.
Like, so, I mean, the timing for me, like, there's so many of those things happening, like, it's blowing my mind. And I honestly, you have to understand, like, whoever's listening right now, like, thanks for
It's
listening.
nobody.
Like,
Nobody's
okay,
listening. You're good.
I'm just saying, like, whoever ends up listening to this.
It's my
like,
mom. And
I just want to say to you guys, like, I feel so weird right now. Like, my stomach, like, I feel nervous. I guess just talking about this, like, it's so intense. But I don't know. Used to Love You was another, like, crazy thing because I had written down that chorus, like, the day after, like, some crazy stuff had gone down, like crazy stuff in my life. And you know, when you write, I've been writing, like, just writing stuff randomly, like, instead of going online and looking at stupid stuff, but like being like, I'm just gonna write, like, this is how I'm gonna heal, like, I need to write. And I went back in and found that lyric, and then that ended up being the chorus of the song. And that was like the day after the record company was like, well, we think maybe you should just put out your record. Like, I don't know, they just sort of weren't, like, super into the record or something at the time. Like, this is a while back. Like, I know the whole thing happened in like 8 weeks. Okay,
Right.
like the whole record. That's what's so weird about it. Like, usually it takes like 3 years. You know what I mean? So
it happens fast
yeah.
now.
And then, like, I was kind of defeated. I felt kind of defeated this one day, and I went in and then I wrote "Used to Love You," and it's the first time in like 25 years someone called me from the label, and they were like, we think you might have like a
That's
hit.
what we all sort of had that same feeling.
I was like, what? Like, that's no one's ever said that to me in my whole life. Like, I was like calling my dad. I was like, okay, whoever just sent me this email, I'm going to tweet this. Can I tweet this from the record company?
It felt the same way for us when we heard it. Like, Angie and I, we have the weekend countdown show on like 100 stations, and I told Angie, I'm like, we should play Gwen's song always because I'm just trying to, I'm a fan and just trying to support you and put music out there. I mean, I played Spark the Fire everywhere or whatever.
I love you.
And then I was like, we'll just make this like, my pick of the week or whatever. And then like we were listening to it more. Yeah, and we were like, this song actually like really may go. And so we played it, and not that we have anything to do with that, but I feel like now nationally, I don't know what the charting situation is, but you really might have, a hit on your hands here, which has got to be exciting.
Well, I mean, honestly, there again, my stomach's gurgling. Honestly.
Well, you're just knee deep in it. You're just.
I am.
It's happening. The things in your life, and I'm around you a lot, so I see it. It's happening, and the best thing about you and your coping, if you will. And maybe your fans will find this, they probably know this about you, but in the darkest of times, it's really amazing to me how humor is something that's really...
Wow, you're reading my mind. Go ahead.
Like, I've watched you, like, you'll crack jokes like we did at the Today Show the other day. Like, humor is important to you, and it's a really important thing for you to get to you still got to live every day.
But I think what happened, too, like, if you actually, when you hear the record, like the entire record, if you listen to it, it's the first half that I wrote was like that. Like, all the songs were quite humorous, but, like, dark, like... They were like sarcastic, you know what I mean? Like, there was a humor to them. And then it kind of went to a place of like realness. Like, that's where I think Used to Love You kind of happened. And then it went to joyful. Like, there's so many fun, like, happy songs are like, so I feel at first
that's
I was
probably
like,
that's a reflection of how you were mentally in the last however many months, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you probably, if you look at
Yes.
those 3 parts to the record now, and that's kind of where you're at now, is just like this, you're grateful, you've kind of come full circle a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's crazy I can't imagine what it feels like to live that process out in the press and have to still get up every day and read things and all of that. It's amazing to me. But let me just do this so we can reset. Gwen Stefani's here live at 7:22. I want to play Used to Love You just so people can kind of listen to it and marinate in all that we're saying about it. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about The Voice. I want to ask you about working with Rihanna, Selena Gomez, and your fellow coaches there. So let's get to Used to Love You from Gwen Stefani. She joins us live. It is 7:23.
What's wrong with just gonna vomit?
LA's new hit music is Amp Radio. That is the sound of Gwen Stefani, Used to Love You. She joins us live at Amp Radio. I think when you write the most vulnerable stuff, the most honest stuff, probably some of the hardest stuff to actually pen, and you put it out, that's kind of why it becomes such a big hit, or there's a big reaction to it, is because people can relate to it. You just write a bunch of crap, no one can relate to that. But when you open up like that and you listen to the lyrics of that song, I feel like everybody driving listening to that song is like, God, she's singing my story too.
it's really, as we were talking about this morning about this particular song, it is kind of a weird thing to say, you know what I mean? But it's unless it happens to you, like, you wouldn't really think it up, but when it does, it's like, that's exactly how I feel. Like, right there,
exactly.
That's exactly how I feel. And I just think that that's what's so amazing about songwriting is being able to capture that, like, and just put it into music, because music is such a vessel for that, that feeling. Like, it just, and it's so powerful to put it to music and capture it. And I just think
for us to receive it, it's just as powerful when you put it to music. For us,
wow,
it's like it becomes like our medicine, people.
Well,
so
then
that's
me like giving you your medicine is like my medicine, because
right,
then like
so
when I hear
crazy.
you
Group
say
hug,
that, that's like my medicine back. Like
totally.
But it is true. It definitely, if you give, like you receive. Like that's what I feel like by giving a bit of myself through this whole thing.
You're right.
I couldn't believe it. Like when I did the song live in New York a couple weeks ago, which was going to be the first time I ever did the song. That right afterward, like we were all sitting at the bar afterward, and it was like the 1930s, and like, oh, the press is in, and like people were like doing, and like right off the whatever, the press, and it's like
fresh off the
and they were like reading the reviews
right.
and everybody's response, and it literally felt like people putting Band-Aids all over me. It was like it felt so and because I didn't know, like I don't know them, the people, but
they help heal you though.
They're helping me because it just feels so supported. And I feel like also being me, like I've been around for so long, and like I feel like people just know me, and I don't really hide anything, so I'm just
That's
like,
right.
thanks.
That's why we love you.
Anyways, I'm
so the third
grateful.
record, I don't know if we've gotten back to that just for your fans. Is there you've rattled off Red Flags, Naughty, you have some songs. When are they coming out?
Good question. I think probably early next year,
okay.
right?
All
I mean,
right. Well,
I'm still
something.
writing too. Like the day okay, so this is what's so crazy. So I did the song in New York, and then on Monday, they were like, oh, I think you might be on the radio this morning. I was like, really? And then I got in the car to go to an appointment. It was on the radio, like
awesome.
when I got in the car. And then that night it went to whatever, iTunes or whatever, and it went to number 2. And I mean, it was just so crazy because everyone's texting me, oh my God, it's number 13. Oh my God, it's number 11. And we were like, oh my God. It was like the craziest thing, because I'd only written the song a couple weeks before
Were you
that.
not expecting it? You love the song, obviously.
I love the song, but I don't expect.
She talks to Ange like she's never sold a record in her life.
It's her first song ever. Like she's not a success.
But it feels like it does feel like that. I mean, it never gets old. I mean, also,
That's true.
especially when it's a song that is so important to me. You know what I mean? And it just, and it's so, like you said, happening in real time. It's just bizarre. And
right.
And then what happened after that? So then I went to the studio on Tuesday, the day after, and I wrote 2 more songs. So it's like,
right, you're rolling now.
So it's weird. It's like I feel like I probably have over maybe 25 songs now, and I just feel like the record is so like good. Like I don't mean to say that in a brag way, because I don't really feel responsible for it. I feel like I'm just channeling, and it's just been given to me, and I feel so grateful.
I bet you do, especially how it's interesting this happens. We were talking to Adele last week, and she said the same exact thing.
Well, that's because
she was like, I went into the studio and I couldn't. She's like, I canceled the session. She's like, I couldn't write anything. She felt worthless, useless. She almost quit music. All the pressure of like 21 and having to live up to that for 25 and this and that. And then, as soon as she got over herself, it enabled her to open up the floodgates, and then she wrote probably what's going to be the biggest selling album of the decade. And it's a similar story to you. I feel like all people just think celebrities and artists are impenetrable and they have perfect lives, and every time they pen to paper it's a hit song, and that's not the case. They're and you sitting here for the last half hour telling us about your process and your life and all of it, I just find it so fascinating and so real, and probably refreshing to a lot of people. Yeah,
well, it is very real, and it is very this process has been the release, you know what I mean? Like the healing, like the just, if I didn't do it, it wasn't like, oh, I want to go write a song. It was like, I got to go write a song.
It's like therapy.
This is happening.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do this. And it was crazy because, I have all the kids and I have a very, very busy life. So it was like, can I get in the studio today? When's the next time I can be in the studio? When can I, you know what I mean? It was like addictive. And I still am. Like I would go today. I was supposed to go today, but then I have a football game this afternoon.
Right. You're a mom.
I was like, I was like, are they going to cancel because of the rain? Because maybe I'll go to studio.
That's funny.
It's exciting to see how excited you are about it.
It is.
It's really exciting
I'm
to see that.
so excited.
It is
If
so
I
cool.
was like right now, Tom Cruise, I'd be like up here. Like I'd be
You'd be couch jumping right now?
I would be couch jumping.
That's hilarious. Tell me a little bit, because The Voice is on tonight. You got your key advisor, Rihanna, who's another huge name, but she's been great on the show. She'd make a great coach herself. What's she been like?
Oh, she's hilarious. I mean, she's so funny because she's kind of she's really deep and intense, and and she's talking and you're like really following, and then all of a sudden she'll do some like crazy thing, and like I don't know, she made me laugh so hard, and I loved hanging out with her. And it's really hard hanging out with her because she's so beautiful that you're distracted the whole time, like you're trying to talk
That's
to
how
her.
I feel right now sitting across from you.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I understand how you
are
feel.
so sweet.
Because you're so ugly and it's so
But I'm
hard
saying,
for you.
Rihanna looks like a crazy, like Tootsie Roll Barbie doll. Like I'm like, can I just eat you because you're so beautiful? Like, so you're trying to talk to her and be serious, but all you can think about is like, how did God make a creature that looks like that?
Well, that's nice. Well, she is the advisor, and those shows continue tonight at 8 o'clock on NBC.
I'm watching. I love
I'm going to let
watching.
you move on. What, I mean, is it, no doubt I noticed played at the Global Citizens Festival. You guys did a show in Chicago. You did that thing down in Del Mar. I mean, is there any life for No Doubt in album number 7, or where's that at?
We kind of are, this is also my mantra is like living in the moment, in the present. That's the only way to do it. So if I start thinking about stuff like that, then I get really stressed out. But the shows,
I don't want to stress you out.
No, the shows that we did we did some shows together. Like you said, they were incredible. Because again, like,
what is that like for you to get back with those guys and just?
Well, it's like not even just being with them, but also playing live is something that I haven't done a lot of in the last 4 years. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So getting up there and doing festivals, it was, and I wasn't prepared. Like I rehearsed a couple times, but it was really like, because I've been so crazy, my brain's so crazy right now that I would just go out there and I would be like, I'm just going to see what happens. And like, and I was like, and it was so intense. Like there was the one that we did in San Diego, the last one we did was, I felt like I was in high school. Like it was so incredible.
What is it like to sing Just a Girl or Spiderwebs or those songs? Like what is it? Does it all just come flooding right back? Is it easy?
It hurts. Like it's weird because it's like, for me, like each song is capturing a moment in time, and you don't, every time you hear it, it's like you feel it again. Do you know what I'm saying? So like it doesn't go away. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I'm singing Don't Speak, all of a sudden I'm associating that all with everything that's going on with me now. So it's very intense. And also when you look out and you see real human beings, because none of it feels real until you see them singing your music. And that was just intense to watch that, and knowing that they know what's going on. And there was lots of like almost breakdowns and like tears every time the lights would go down. I'd be like, ah!
These are real tears.
I'm like serious.
Well,
and I
listen,
love it. Like I love feeling intense, so I'm happy.
You sound happy, and that's all that matters. You sound like you're doing great,
Carson,
and we appreciate your
I
time.
love you, and I'm so happy that I get to be around you. And
I love you too.
Thank you for being so awesome.
We're here for you. Anything you need. And listen, let's get this record out. Let's get another song out and build on Used to Love You. I know your
You're
label's
gonna freak
here.
out when you hear the rest of the song.
But listen, in today's climate, we gotta build on this thing.
I'm doing it. Let's do this. Like,
You know
what do
what I
I
mean?
have to do? Like,
Well, we'll figure it out off the air, but let's build on this. Because in 10 minutes, someone else is coming out with something, and all right, I'm going to book the conference room, and we're going to all get in there and make a plan.
We have to have some kind of a meeting.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yes. All right, Gwen Stefani, everybody, the longest interview on Amp Radio. We love her to death. Thank you, Gwen.
Thank you. I love you.
7:35. We'll be right back.
Amp Radio.